Have you ever just sat there, watching your dog sleep, and wondered what is actually going on in that head of theirs? Well, today we're going on a little journey, backed by a whole lot of science, right into the dreaming mind of our dogs, to see what their secret, inner world is all about. You know the moment I'm talking about, right? You see their little paws start to paddle, maybe there's a soft whimper, and you just can't help but ask yourself, what kind of adventure are they on right now? Are they chasing squirrels, greeting you at the door? Or are they even dreaming at all? Well, let's not beat around the bush. The answer from all the neuroscientists and animal behavior experts who've looked into this is a huge, resounding yes. They absolutely are dreaming. And this isn't just us dog lovers being hopeful. It's based on some really solid, fascinating science. Okay, so let's get into it. How can we be so sure? Well, it all boils down to a simple, amazing fact. Our brains and our dogs' brains are built from the exact same fundamental blueprint. We're both mammals, and that comes with some shared hardware. Here's the deal. When scientists hook dogs up to an EEG to measure their brainwaves during sleep, the patterns they see are just, well, they're almost a carbon copy of ours. Dogs go through the same stages of sleep that we do, which is probably the biggest piece of evidence we have that dreaming is a shared experience. And we've known this for a while. Check this out. A landmark study all the way back in 1977 tracked the 24-hour brain activity of pointers, and they found that dogs spend a solid 12% of their day in REM sleep. REM, that's rapid eye movement, and as you probably know, for us humans, REM is prime time for dreaming. It's where all the vivid, story-like dreams happen. So, if we know they're dreaming during REM sleep, that brings us to the next big question. What's with all the twitching and the paddling legs and those little muffled barks? It's cute, for sure, but what's causing it? Well, the answer is tucked away deep inside the brainstem. Everybody, meet the pons. You can basically think of this little structure as a biological off switch for the body. When you or your dog enters that deep REM dream state, the pons gets to work, sending signals that paralyze the body's major muscles. It's actually an incredible safety feature that stops us from, literally jumping out of bed to chase that dream monster down the hall. But, and here's the key, that off switch isn't 100% perfect. As the brain is busy creating these super vivid dream scenarios, some of the signals to move can actually leak right past that blockade from the pons. And that is exactly what we see on the outside. Those little twitches, the whimpers, the kicking legs, they're the physical pieces of the dream breaking through into the real world. And this totally explains something you've probably noticed. Puppies and older senior dogs, they tend to be way more active sleepers. For puppies, it's because their pons, that little off switch, is still developing and isn't quite at full strength yet. And for our older dogs, that switch can just get a little less efficient over time. All right, this is the one. We know they dream, we know why they twitch. Now for the million-dollar question that every single dog owner wants to know. What in the world are they dreaming about? Obviously, we can't just ask them, but science gives us two really fantastic theories. So on one side, you have Dr. Stanley Korn. He suggests that dogs pretty much dream about doggy things. Simple, right? Their brains are replaying the day's events, chasing that ball, that great run on the beach, or even tapping into their deep breed instincts like a retriever fetching. But then on the other side, you have Harvard psychologist Dr. Deirdre Barrett. She argues that because our dreams tend to be about what's most emotionally important to us, our dogs are most likely dreaming about us, about our face, our smell, the comfort of our presence. So, which one is it? Well, the beautiful thing is, it's not an either-or situation. These two ideas aren't fighting each other. They're probably two sides of the very same coin. Think about it. A dog might be dreaming about chasing a ball. That's the what. But the emotional core of that dream is the pure joy of playing that game with you. That's the why. The action and the attachment are all woven together. And this connection between a dog's daily life and their dream life is so important because it gives us, as owners, this incredible little window into their emotional state. What happens to them when they're awake directly, and I mean directly, shapes what happens when they're asleep. And check this out. Research from a Hungarian study is just fascinating on this. They found that after a dog had a negative or stressful experience, they actually spent more time in REM sleep. They were dreaming more. But, and this is a big but, they spent less time in that deep restorative sleep. So a bad day might lead to more dreams, but they're probably more anxious dreams, and the sleep itself is way less restful.
So, how can you play dream detective? Well, a happy dream usually looks pretty relaxed. You might see some gentle, slow tail wags, maybe some soft huffing sounds or little muffled barks, and those running motions will be smooth and rhythmic. It's the picture of a contented pup.
A nightmare, on the other hand, well, it looks a lot more tense. You'll see their muscles get rigid. The sounds will be more like distressed whimpering or even yelping. You might even hear a growl, and the movements will be sudden and jerky, not smooth. This is likely their brain processing something scary that happened.
Now, when you see your dog having what looks like a nightmare, I know your first instinct is to wake them up and comfort them. But listen to this because it's really important. Every expert agrees you shouldn't. You have to let sleeping dogs lie. A dog that's startled awake from a terrifying dream is disoriented, they don't know where they are, and they can react defensively, maybe even with a snap. It's for their safety and yours.
Okay, so let's bring all this home. How can we use this amazing knowledge as owners? How can we encourage good dreams and, just as importantly, know when we might be seeing a sign of a health issue?
You know, the funny thing is, promoting good dreams is really just about promoting a good life. It's the stuff we already try to do. A consistent routine, a safe and comfy bed, plenty of exercise, and some mental stimulation, like puzzle toys or training, are all key. But really, the #1 ingredient for a night of happy dreams is a secure, loving home. That's the best fuel.
Now, we have to talk about something really critical. Because while all this dream twitching is totally normal, those movements can sometimes look a little bit like something much more serious. Okay, if you take away only one thing from everything we've talked about, please let it be this. The single biggest difference between a dream and a seizure is arousability. Can you wake them up? A dreaming dog, even from a deep sleep, will wake up if you call their name loudly or make a sharp noise. A dog having a seizure is unconscious. They are totally unresponsive. You'll also see that during a seizure, their body and limbs are stiff and rigid, not just twitching. And afterward, they'll wake up extremely disoriented and confused. So let me just say that one more time, because it's that important. If the movements look violent, if their body is stiff, and you cannot wake your dog up with your voice, you need to consult your veterinarian right away. Don't wait. It is always better to be safe.
You know, when you really boil it all down, learning about what's going on in their head when they're asleep, it's just another way of deepening your connection. Those little twitches and muffled barks are no longer just cute random things. They're little windows into their mind, into their day, into their feelings.
It just goes to show you that their inner world is every bit as rich and complex and full of stories as their waking one. So the next time you see your best friend twitching in their sleep, just take a second and watch and wonder, what story is their brain telling right now? What amazing adventure are they on?